I already had started and was talking about something, and then I was like, oh, hell no, this will not go through. So I said, go backwards. So I'm going to kind of change it up what I was saying. I got to be a little bit more mindful because there's certain things you definitely cannot say. And, I was just talking to somebody. I was watching a video and then I was talking to the person who had made it, but it is completely showing the attack that humans are under for the reproduction. And so I got to say a lot of this stuff carefully. So men, their sperms are giving up. They're, we can't do it anymore. That just wore me out. And the same with women, their eggs aren't working. It's we got old ladies now starting to bleed again. We got little girls that are. We got people hemorrhaging. We got complete uterine lining coming out. So we got all sorts of issues going on. But that is part of the thing. That's what they wanted. They want to make our babies in labs. That's the transhumanism agenda. We are just we aren't any more important than a robot. Except for the robots, they don't have to eat or, they can just be told what to do and they just do it. We have got that thing like, well, I don't know. That might not be fun. Maybe I don't want to do it, And a robot's not going to, but we don't matter. Like our feelings and how we feel about it doesn't matter. But, it's just another thing for them to have to deal with. Like how we're so annoying. Like, we make noises, we talk, we have feelings and emotions. So they don't like that. They're going to, somehow whittle that out of a human. Let's get rid of that part. We don't need them to have their own thoughts or emotions. That's the whole thing of trying to turn everybody into robots with their changing this stuff up. And they've already come out and said, hey, we're already making them up here in the lab. We got little ones and we're making them all in the labs. But don't you worry about a thing. We're so ethical. We would never do anything to hurt these little things. And we'll be so humane when we kill them off. Don't even worry about it. And besides, they don't have feelings. You don't have to worry about that. Like, for how long have we been told? Dogs don't have feelings. Animals don't have feelings. Bugs don't have feelings. They don't feel anything. They don't know anything. Like, that is what they have done to teach us. To kind of keep us separated from having empathy and knowing that we're a part of all these things. So, they have done this, and it is all depends on what you're willing to accept, Yesterday, I had this girl, and she left me a couple of different posts, or a couple of different comments, but she was asking me, she was saying she's had a couple and she feels good, but all these people keep saying stuff. And what do I feel about this? And so that's the thing, is my feelings are different than a lot of other people's. And I think it's important for us to have that empathy and compassion. I think that is what, these people who are, I'm a pure blood, I'm better than you. That is a hierarchy. That's divisive. That's the parameters that they have given you, and you're playing along then. You're playing along in their 3D game when you go into this idea, I'm better than you. And, all these people doing it, that's going to blow up in their face, just like what I keep saying. Everything is going to turn around. If you don't have any if you're not humble, if you don't have compassion and empathy, and you are very judgmental and thinking you're better than other people and smarter than other people, it's going to be exposed to you and to whoever else needs to see it. I don't know all your soul contracts you got going, but, oh yeah, I have a hole in this shirt. This is that raggedy old shirt. Sometimes I just get up, I just throw on some clothes because I don't sleep with clothes on because it's way too hot. And, well, even in the winter, I don't know, whatever happened after menopause, I just get too hot while I'm sleeping. And so, but I always have to have clothes nearby, especially like they're hitting these people at like 2, 3 in the morning. It's like when the floods come in, and then some of this stuff, there's no alarms that go off. Like the tornado's already going, and then the alarm goes off when it's like an hour later or something. But they're hitting people in the middle of the night. So I was like, man, I gotta keep some clothes nearby. But anyway, I'll just get up in the morning and throw something on. So, anyways, who cares? I know some people get all fixed up to come in and do this, but I don't. I mean, it's not like I don't. I'm because if you say, oh, well, I don't, like, it sounds like I don't care. This doesn't mean anything to me, but it's not like that at all. It's just of like, I just don't want to put on like phony airs, like, and be all, I don't know. There's just some things that seem phony to me, and I'd just rather be real because that's what we all really are. We all really do have holy socks and holy t-shirts, and, we don't all just run out there and, throw some away because it has a hole. Well, some people do, and then they run down to H&M and buy some more. And that is part of the problem. I even saw where somebody was talking about, the clothes have a vibration. Like, wool, anything that is a natural fiber has a high vibration. And there's certain ones you're not even supposed to mix. Like, you're not supposed to mix linen and wools or something. But all of the artificial, like acrylics and stuff, they have a different vibration, and they have a lot of poison and stuff. So people are getting sick from their clothes. But I had seen a thing, this was a couple years ago, and it was on Netflix, and it was that one guy, I think he was on Jon Stewart's show, and then he was on Trevor Noah's, and he would do little like their person on the street or whatever. They would do little news clips or something. I don't even know what that kind of show's called. But anyways, he got his own show, I believe, for a while, and it was on Netflix. And so he would do some exposing some different stuff. And I don't know if his show's still on. I don't know. Maybe he's been red tie. I don't know. I haven't even seen him. So I don't know. But in this one, he was exposing about these clothing places, I think they're called Quick something, these ones that just hurry and make all these clothes real quick. And of course use slaves, or machinery. It's not like they're giving humans jobs and paying them a good wage, and people are making quality products. But a lot of these products are like petroleum based. Like, I didn't even know that. I didn't know how much petroleum went into clothing. So anyways, there's a lot of clothes that are super toxic. So you do have to be mindful. Like, we're going to have to be so much more mindful of so much. We've just been misled for so long. But I think, probably we will go more towards natural fibers and, cotton and wool and stuff that is more natural. But I don't know, because like, we're also going into this high technology, but I still don't think that we're going to just, I think we're going to move out of everything that has been poisoning us. We're not going to have anything to do with it. Like, I can't imagine that we would be having clothes anymore that would be having petroleum based kind of stuff. So I don't know. But those quick fashion clothing places or whatever are really hard on the environment. And that's the thing, is so many people who think they're environmentalists, and then they are constantly going and buying these clothes that are a problem for the environment. And like, I guess in California now, they said that, I think it was 2035. I don't know. You can look it up. But over the next few years, they're not gonna allow you to buy cars. You can't get car loans anymore. It's only gonna be where you can get electric cars. Of course, it's Nancy's place, and well, it doesn't have anything to do with that she's invested in it, does it? That's the thing, is the absurdity. It's all the absurdity. It's the absurdity is to wake us up. Like, this is absurd. And then I saw somebody talking about, and I don't think they lived in California, but they were like, there's not enough lithium to even replace the battery the first time for everybody. if that many people did it. It's like all these electric cars, like what is going to be powering them? Well, it's because these people have invested. And this mining, all of the different stuff they do, this mining, like in Africa and stuff, people are expendable. Like, you get your 5-year-old ass out there and you dig it up, or we'll just kill you right here. Like, in the, but, you know, of course, our politicians are like, well, it's all about me. I've got some good ice cream, though. You know, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit who's being killed. I mean, they'll fucking eat them. They'll, like, send over the body. Sounds good to me. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, we're nothing but something for them to consume. Consume our energy, consume us entirely. Yesterday, this blew my mind. I think I've gone off on something else I was going to talk about, but I'll get back to it. But this blew my mind. So I put on the tarot card, which to me, it just freaks me out because for the past like year, I can go in and my tarot card readings are mind blowing. It is so weird. Like, they literally answer questions in my, the things that I'll ask, they'll answer. It's crazy. And it's been going that way for like at least a year. But anyway, so I was watching this tarot reader, and, you know, commercials come on, and on YouTube, if you allow the commercial to go, the people who supposedly, like, I don't know, supposedly the people who are, have their thing going, that they get some sort of kickback on the commercial if you watch it. I'm not sure. Could all just be a sham. But anyways, I'm not going to sit and just watch it. I'll just get up and do something during the commercial. So I got up and I was doing something when this commercial came on. And then another commercial came on. And so I was still doing something, and I started like listening, like, what in the hell are they talking about? They were talking about that people, the word that I'm sure you can't say. And, but, you know, there's tribes. I mean, that's the problem with these elite people, that what they like to consume. And then it was saying more weird stuff. Like, this girl was sitting there, and this is a commercial, mind you. It was like one of those 3.5-minute commercials. But this girl was sitting there talking about, and it would show like text and stuff. So showing these texts, and it has this girl sitting here talking, and it is this commercial for this documentary series, docu-series or something, and it's got all these whistleblowers. So this girl is talking about that he would want to stick things in every orifice, and he would tell me he wanted to tie me up out in public, and then he wanted to watch as every passing man did the same thing to her, because that would prove that she loved him. Like, this total warped control, like perversion. Like, it's so weird, the stuff that was being said. So I come out of the hall like, what in the hell is on? Like, what are they talking about? And I'm like standing there watching. I'm kind of like dumbfounded. Like, I couldn't even process what is going on. What is this? You know, I was watching a tarot. What the hell is this? And so I kept watching it. And finally, I grabbed my phone and started videoing it because it was blowing my mind. So anyways, I think it's on Discovery Channel. I can try and see, because it wasn't making that as clear to me as what the subject matter was. So the subject matter was Army Hammer. Those are all of the exes. Then I don't know if it's his sister or his aunt that's coming to expose the whole family. And they are, oh my gosh, this commercial was blowing my mind. And this is the hand of God. This is the information that is coming in to be exposed. Like, all these whistleblowers, it's not by accident. All these people are coming in at the same time, and all this information. And this stuff is, I mean, it's going to tell exactly who the Rothschild, all these people are, because these are the same kind of families. These are the same people who are these old families, these old tycoons. That's what they used to call them, a wealthy tycoon. Those people are the ones who own everything. They've owned it for forever. Somehow they just keep their ownership over things. And I don't know if it's the other beings or something that allow this, because I know that the ages are separate time, separate realities. I know that there is no fucking way all this shit runs cohesively through time. There's no fucking way. Even I'm having so much doubt still with the 1800s. Like, I don't know. The pictures and footage I have seen of the 1800s is so far more sophisticated and more advanced than we are now. And that wasn't that long ago. So I was kind of thinking, I think, like, for America, that was a kind of a new beginning for them. So a new reality was created when America came. There was already people here having other realities. Well, their realities were interfered with when other beings came in to take over their place. And then it became, whoever was the most powerful. So that reality was happening here. I do not understand how in the hell they were able to come in, fight all these Indians, take over the world, and fight all the Mexicans, the Spaniards, and kill everybody and, put them off into their camps so that they could be controlled and, re-educated. Then go in, and then you've got all these people coming from other countries and coming across on ships. Then they're being in New York, landing there. Because it wasn't like you were just going all over the place. You had to go through Ellis Island. And then when you went through Ellis Island, you got to come in, and then you had to register. And then you had to, if you wanted to stay, you had to do classes to become a citizen. I don't even know when the classes started, but you had to register when you came in. And you had to go through Ellis Island. So you have all these people coming. Then they're, oh, look, you can, I'm pretty sure part of the lure was free land. And then plus the gold rush. But I think it was free land was the big lure. So all these people, which a lot of them would have been, farmers and people who were trying to escape something going on in their own country. Like my grandpa's family, well, one came from Scotland and the other one came from the Crane of You. And when I have seen some of this stuff, I think they left there during a time that was very similar to Hitler's time, because they did the same kind of thing there. And so I think that he left around then. So I think a lot of places were leaving their own homes to try and go someplace where there seemed like more opportunities. So you get all these people coming into New York, which New York became very crowded. And it came like those districts, like you had all of the Jews in one area, you had all the Italians in one area, you had all of the Irish in one area. And it kind of became a lot of feuding. And I think there became like territorial kind of gang mentality, and well, we'll protect you from them, but you're going to pay us. Like it was a lot of that kind of stuff, like the development, and that's the soul. Making it like, oh, well, we'll just strong arm these people and then we'll get money. That's coming from within. That's what you have to see. But, then you also have the aspect of people are contracted in to play the part. So you don't even know what it is that each soul is really there to learn, because their contracts could be an illusion of how you think that what they're there to learn. That's why you got to let go of all judgment on other people. You can't, there's no way that we can know. But I think it's weird how, so you have all these people there. New York's becoming overcrowded, and people are spreading out. Then you start having people, I think, seems like it was spreading a lot over more towards Chicago even. It seems like there was a whole area up there. And then you had these, like, when was the plantation owners? Like, when you start putting all this together. Okay, we're talking about a couple hundred years of what America was supposed to be, right? Well, I've already lived 60 years, 61 years. And, and the things that I know of is when I was 18 and I was in hair school, and all the little old ladies would come into the hair school to get they get their little perms, they get their hair set, they get their color, all that kind of stuff. And they come each week. And so, because they would get their hair styled. And then I think it's like once every couple months they get a perm, and once a month they get a color. So they're constantly doing shit to their hair. And so you'd build these relationships, sit and talk to them and stuff. And so I talked to a lot of old ladies. And there was one who was the cousin with the Wright brothers, and she would tell me about, she remembered going over there and watching them do the planes and trying to get them off the ground and all that stuff. She remembered all that, and she would tell me about it. So I feel like that was pretty for sure that probably happened around the time she said. And so she would have been, so when I was 20, so like in 1980, say, and I was like 19, then she would have probably, if she was an older lady, like I would say she's older than me, like I wouldn't go in and get my hair done like that. And I don't even know if it's a style. I think once women get up to like their 80s, they do that. But I would say she was probably late 60s or early 70s, something around there. So if you went back another 50 years so it would be the early 1900s that was, and I'd have to look it up. I mean, I kind of depended on Ray at this point because he's always investigating. So, Ray could put together all the times and dates on stuff, but I would think that that's what it would have been talking about. Was the early 1900s is when they made the airplane that would get off the ground. And she made like the Wright brothers, that was all for real. Like the stuff she would tell me. I always, from that point on, I always believed in that whole thing because of the stuff she'd tell me. So, then if you go to, so where did all these plantation owners come from? And I said before, when I went down to New Orleans, it's way, way older. It is not 200 years old. It is way older, like the buildings and stuff. And so there was already, they make like there was nobody living here except for Indians and, those, what are those things called? Not cows, but those, not bulls. Those really big things that supposedly all the white people killed them off because we're so greedy. And the Indian people would, only use what they needed and use everything and not be wasteful. But that's the corporation. I don't think that you would have just had, one guy for his family out just killing all this stuff and then just trying to store it. You didn't have storage and stuff. So I don't know, like, did they have a whole army of people come in and just start wiping out the animals? I don't know. This is like the stuff that starts being like, this doesn't make sense. So you would have had the Spaniards, the Mexicans and stuff from the other side. And that's, I think, where you have like the Cajuns and stuff. They're a mix of, I think the French and the Spanish. I can't really remember though. Ray can look it up. But anyways, so they are, so they would have been down there. And then, so when the fight over Texas, the Alamo, that was fighting with the Mexicans and Spaniards. Because the Spaniards, I'm pretty sure, came over, because Columbus, now it's come out. Now, and I start saying this, nobody would believe me. But now it's come out. Columbus didn't ever even come here. That was all made up bullshit. So Columbus was going down into South America. I think they probably came around, to Mexico. But I think all of the Latin kind of more people have some sort of something that holds them back in the past where they came from the same place sometime. I don't know how it all went because this is just like there's so much shit that doesn't make sense. So then you have all these people coming over on Ellis Island. And then you have the ones in the city. Then you have these people down here who own these plantations. Where'd they fucking come from? And when did we all of a sudden have all of the slaves trying to escape? Which I saw another person talking about that and saying that the original people were the Aborigines people of here, and they were blacker, like how the Aborigines look in Australia. They're dark, they just have a distinct appearance. And so, and I really think these are the more natural people. I think these ones would come from the Neanderthals. Then you have the Homo sapiens sapiens. That's where they already were messing with the DNA. Then this new one, I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch that'll come out. But so the Aborigines, it said that they weren't just taken as slaves. They were, they were taken to annihilate them. So, that they were killing them. And it was, so it wasn't just like there's just so much holes in all this stuff. Because then we know in other places they were selling people, like people in Africa. A rich black guy would go into a place that was poor, steal the people, like strong-arm people, steal them, and then go sell them to other people who wanted free workers. But they did it also in China. Like, they've done it all the time. There's always been these people. This traffic situation has been going on since the beginning of time. That is the hierarchy. That is the light and dark. That is you deciding who you are. And it's that same thing as with that experiment when they created that prison, and they made some people the guards and some people the prisoners. Like, you develop that mentality, and that is what is continuing to happen all the time. It has been happening all the time. People make a decision. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be a guard, or are you going to be a prisoner? And what kind of guard are you going to be? Are you going to follow the pack? Or are you going to be different? And you're going to be distinct. You're going to be unique. You're going to be compassionate. So you have these two groups. So you have the group who is the ones who will go in and take over somebody else's life and think that they can own them and sell them. And I don't know what all inside a person gets them to be like that. But so we have all these people who then they come over, and then they start saying, well, we're going to give away land. So anybody who wants land. So then they get all these wagon trains, and people start loading the wagon trains up and crossing across America. Well, we know that took a long fucking time. That wasn't like a weekend trip. I mean, you're moving slow. There is no roads. You're hitting every weather. You are fighting with people who don't want you there. You've got animals that you've never experienced. Like if you left London and then you came across on the ship and came into Ellis Island, then you're all of a sudden crossing the frontier. Like there's bears and shit. Like you didn't have that in the city of London. So you have all of that stuff. And then don't forget, like there was wars and stuff. Like there was so much going on. How in the hell did all that happen just in that short of time? And then when you see where they're saying in the 1800s that all these super fancy buildings and ones where you can see like there had to be giants. So there was buildings that were already here. There was places and beings that were already here. And, and I think it's part of the reset. But then it's like the powers that be trying and just, take the buildings and interject them into our history when it has nothing to do with our history. And so it just completely confuses and mixes it up. Like, I really don't understand even the stuff that you see from the state fair in those buildings and people going around in their, all those women with their big giant hats and their big bustle dresses or skirts, like all of this fabric, all of this big wardrobe. And then they're out there on this little tiny scooter just scooting around, and it's all automated. It's just going by itself. It's like, Okay, well, that didn't just all of a sudden happen in one weekend. There wasn't just one weekend of, look, we got scooters. Like, I I tried to go on a scooter before. You have to have balance and stuff. You can't just go jump on something and just do it, especially those hovercraft things. You have to have balance. And so, yeah, I don't think that people just all of a sudden that weekend or however long that fucking state fair lasted, there's just way too much of stuff that doesn't fit in. It doesn't make sense. And that is a very small amount of time that they're telling us is just jam packed with so much stuff. So much happened over a couple hundred years in America. And then you think about like over there in like Norway, where they're having, I'm pretty sure it was Norway, and they're having, I know it was Dutch, they're having these battles with the farmers and stuff, and these people are saying, we've owned this land since the 1300s. See, that's a totally different reality. That's a totally different planet. That's a totally different thing. That reality was there. And I mean, you've got people who have family links going back that far. That is the thing, is like all of these realities are so separate. They're so separate planets. Just like how we think there's all these planets around us when it's all these other land masses with just other beings. We want to think they're aliens because they've been telling us, oh, be scared, be scared. And yesterday, oh man, yesterday I watched that movie Nope. My brother put it on. So I watched it, Jordan Peele's new movie. And it is aliens. And it is so fear-based. It's not even just aliens up there. And it's showing it in the hiding in the clouds. This cloud mass is there. It doesn't change. And it's hiding up there in the clouds. But it's its own being. Which I know that the spaceships and stuff are alive. They are beings. And it did show that. It did show this thing coming to life and changing shapes and stuff, which that is real. When you get to that point in your abilities as a eternal being in incarnation, you can, change your physicality. So, a lot of these people, these ships and stuff that they go around, it's like an extension of them. It's like, I don't know, we're going to learn way more about it. Like, you can go in and watch a lot of the ufology stuff and the hidden technology stuff, and it's just weird because the ships are alive. So we did show that, but this ship was all consuming. It was just wanting to eat people. And so the people were all scared and they're trying to battle this ship. And I was just like, man, dude, are you just trying to scare people, especially at this time when we're about to start having interactions with these other beings, and you're just get people so scared? Like, and we have got things up in the air, things up, like people keep seeing things hidden in the clouds and stuff. And then you put this movie out right then. Like, you see how timing? Like, there's no accident this stuff is coming out about Armie Hammer and that whole family, and it's going to show all the connections, and it's going to be very disturbing. I'm no doubt about it. It's going to be on Discovery, is what the channel, I'm pretty sure. Then you have, and we're going to be interacting with aliens, other beings, multidimensional beings, but they want to make them out to be monsters in the sky. And then Jordan Peele, like, I thought he would have been a lot more progressive in an awakening, like wanting people to heal and stuff. I wouldn't think that he would be somebody who would just be trying to, keep fear, especially about aliens and stuff. Like, I don't know. that really bothered me. I thought this is very strange, and the timing and just the whole thing, that they're up in the clouds. And I can't even tell you how many people constantly are showing pictures of these things up in the clouds. Like, everybody's focusing on the clouds and what's up there. And there's going to be something big that is going to happen. And I think that something is going to happen in the skies. So I don't know, them trying to just get people scared, but really it is just souls. I saw this girl that, that I see on TikTok, and she's biracial, and she was talking about something, and some guy came into her comments, and he obviously has a platform. He might even have a YouTube page, and he is talking about black people have souls, but I guess white people apparently don't. So if you're biracial, and you won't have a soul because you've got white in you, so only black people have souls. I was like, she was even disturbed by this because she's biracial, and she's just like, what are you talking about? But that is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You've got people out here spreading, to me, that is total misinformation. The whole thing, even this concept of a hierarchy as a soul, like, you cannot. How can anybody go? You take 4 or 5 colors. Say you took red, purple, blue, green, yellow, and you put them in out in space, and you added vibration and the iridescent, and the colors started moving and changing and shining. How could you say one was prettier than the other? Like, I don't think that you can. And so every soul is the same. It doesn't matter. We're cells in a solar system, in a solar body. We are the cells, the souls of that. And so, I don't know. These people trying to act like there's a hierarchy in souls. Like, if you're this color, you're better. If you're this, you're better. And aliens or animals, they are below us. No, they're not. Most of the aliens are so much more sophisticated and advanced than us spiritually. But we have to be able to see that all these different planetary systems that we think are out there are really just around us, and they're all different realities. Like, we weren't there in the 1300s in Norway, but that reality has been going there since then. And so that's what I'm saying, is like, you have places that have had different realities, and then the realities have reset and changed. And then these people who are in control here have limited us on the land. And that is part of, keeping us, well, I think, I've heard where people say, well, they don't want us to know about all the land that's outside of the wall because they want us to feel limited. But I think there's more to that, because we actually have the firmament and it's more contained. But, like, look around you as some of this energy, like, where people are putting it out there that only black people have souls. It's like, what in the world? Like, how strange to come up with this stuff. Like, why people can't see we're all the same. We're all just souls going into different bodies. We're going into trees. We're going into flowers. We're going into bees. We're going into dogs. We're going into deers. We're going into humans. We're going into all sorts of things as a soul, as a cell, to be a part of that experience. Like, I don't get how that's so hard for people to understand, but they just want to keep trying to change it or something. Like, they've got to just go back to hype. No, we're much more advanced than dogs. Well, I don't know. I'm dumbfounded how smart Stella is. Even, when I went over there to babysit, right? And I took Stella, and they're very 3D. That's all I can say. I used to be 3D, and so I'm not going to ridicule somebody for being 3D. They're just trying to live their 3D life. And, I lived my 3D life. And it's hard to watch because, we know, like, that there's so much poison and stuff in there. I don't have an awareness. But anyway, so I was over there and took Stella. And I just talk to Stella. I just tell her stuff. And, she listens, and I listen to her. I tune in, and, I'll ask her. And if I can't tell what she's trying to tell me, I'll ask her again and stuff. So anyways, one of the little girls I had said something, and she goes, does Stella know what you're talking about? And I said, yeah. And she goes, she knows those words? And I said, yeah. And she said something. And then she said, well, our dogs don't know any words. They don't know how, they only know screaming and yelling. It's like, no, that's because you scream and yell at the dogs. That's all you've taught them. I didn't tell her that part. I said, well, you can teach them words, and you can teach them more words. You just got to talk to them. You use the same words over and over. I didn't go through that much explanation, but you use the same words over and over, and you teach them words. Like, I don't have to scream and yell at Stella. I can just talk to her. And she listens. And when I tell her I don't understand what you're saying, she will sit there and think, and she will try and communicate and show me what she's trying to tell me. And I just know that everything is cells. We're all the same. There is no difference. There is no hierarchy. The whole thing about some of us have come from somewhere else. It doesn't mean it's better. We've just come to try and bring new information. So the people who want expansion have new information, because the information here is so limited. That's where you come up with these people who are like, no, if you're white, you don't even have a soul. Just if you're biracial, forget about it. It's like, oh my God, these people. And then the people who are getting so sad and depressed and scared. Look at how much, there's so many people who are just nonstop all day long pounding it in about everything in it and all this stuff, and you've got maybe 6 months at best and stuff. It's very stressful. It's stressful to me, and I haven't even had one. I just know everybody who has. But I can't even imagine being one of these people and going in and watching that shit. What is positive about that? I get that, it's desperate. We all feel desperate to wake people up. We all want everybody to wake up and quit doing this shit. Quit going and taking these chemicals. Quit eating chemicals. You got to pay attention. They're killing us. And I know people are in such denial about it and they won't see it. And I get the panic that people feel like, oh, we've got to get them. If we just tell them, they'll stop. The whole thing is, the people who are getting them are not stopping. Something big is going to happen. But the people who they're scaring are the people who are waking up, who already have them, and then they're panicking. And all I can say is start doing that zeolite and stuff. I would start doing everything I can to get the heavy metals out of my body, and then start just focusing on my body. I would do everything I could to not eat chemicals and be hyper alert to what you're consuming, because it's in everything that we take in. There's chemicals, and it all is about your own DNA and how it's affected, how you will be affected. And they're targeting certain people. So, and your soul knows. It's not like your soul doesn't know, but I just think, man, they just keep saying all this stuff. And the people who are panicking and scared, and, that is bringing in that energy. And we need to bring in this other energy of hopeful and joy and independence and strength, resilience. And it just is like fear, and scared and weakness, and you're gonna die. It's like, I've even said, you don't even have to age. It's all in here. So, it's everything is in here. It's how you look at things. So if you have had these, don't sit there and keep thinking, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to be sick. You're going to make yourself sick. You're going to create your own death. You have to be thinking, okay, so I'm poisoned along with everybody else on this planet. So what am I going to do about this? How am I going to confront this? And then you have to follow your lead, go through it, walk the walk. And that's the change. We can't do anything about who's going to be killed and who's not going to be killed during this. And, that's going to happen. And it's going to be huge amounts of people at once. Like, they're attacking whole entire cities and stuff at once. They are going for the big numbers. And we don't have any control over that. They come in the fucking middle of the night. Like every day, I'm sure somebody's being taken out. And, there's nothing we can do, but we can sure the hell try and know our own strength. And if we have an awareness we're being poisoned, we need to go in and take care of ourselves. We need to, and part of that is staying positive. The stress is a big killer. So, I don't know. That girl who said that to me yesterday, I just really felt for her. And on usually all of those videos, I just thumb past them. I can't watch them because I've got too many people I love who I have them, and I can't put that energy in. So I can't even imagine being a person who is, and then seeing those one after another, after another, after another. It's just, oh man. I just feel like there's just, I feel like we're close to whatever it is that's going to be taking us the other direction. That is going to be the eye-opening lights coming on in it. My mom, I talked to her the other day, and she said that she can't even imagine that something big's not about to happen. She said if you were watching the news, you would be shocked. Like something is about to give. Something's about to happen. And that's one thing, too, for people who watch the news. If you can watch it, it's kind of like reading between the lies. It's reading between the lines and seeing what it is really going on. It's just to watch it without that whole thing of believing what they're telling you, because they're misleading you in so many ways. But when you can read between the lines, you can see what's going on. So I don't know. I feel like that there's going to be something, and it's going to, all of a sudden it's going to wake people up, and they're going to all be panicking and stuff. But when that happens, it's going to go the other direction. And all these people who are out there just passing bad information and bringing people down, that is going to come back on them. See, that's that energy. That's what I was talking about. It's going to come back on them. It's like they're going to be knocked down by their own wave of energy. And so that's what I'm saying. You really got to be mindful. And I think it's super important at this time. We need to be building people up. We need to be empowering people, giving people hope, giving people life is challenging, but you came here for the challenge because we're all warriors. We came here for this. And so don't stop believing in yourself because they want to beat you down and tear you down. You have to overlook what they say and go inside and believe in yourself and know your value. And you're worth more than just, what they, the lab rat. And that's the only thing that we have value to these people. But if you value yourself, then you will treat yourself better. But it goes so much with how they just beat people down and people don't know how to love themselves. And then they go outside, please, somebody love me so I can love myself. It's like, it doesn't work that way. You have to love yourself, and then you will pull in people who will love you too. But until you love yourself, you're just pulling in people to teach you how to love yourself. And once you love yourself, then you'll pull in the people who will love you as much as you love you. But it's a process, and you have to go through a lot of this learning, and it has to do with pain and suffering and awareness. So, but I just feel certain, like when everything changes, all of the people who have been putting out this energy of bringing people down and toxic, it's all going to be by intention too. Like if they're if they're freely, truly from their heart, freely trying to give out information to really, they think is helping people, then it won't have the effect as somebody who's like, fuck them, you're stupid. Like how many times I hear people like this sheeple, and I get they're frustrated. I get they're irritated. I get it's hard. And you just want to slap everybody awake and get everybody to pay attention. And you think everybody's just doing on purpose. But I do know people are waking up to all sorts of things. People are seeing all sorts of things. We're just not all seeing the same things at the same time. And so it's just a big process. And, the people who are frustrated are truly frustrated and angry and are divisive like that, like sheeple, stupid, they're ruining my life, these sheeple, that energy is going to come back on them. And so, anyways, just be aware of what you're putting out there and know that something big is coming. And when it does, it's going to be something that's going to open people's eyes. I mean, we're going to continually have this stuff, these whistleblowers, these docu-series. Like, there's so much of this stuff coming out that keeps exposing the evilness that has been around us, because we all have to just see it until we, I don't know. Like, there's a point where you just are like, I don't need to see anymore. Like, I can just go past this. I've done, I get it. And there's a lot of videos like that for me. It's like, oh, I already know this. I don't need to go in and watch somebody else explain it. So there's a lot of stuff that you get to the point of like, okay, I get it. But there's a lot of people who don't still. They haven't gotten it yet. There's people who are videos that are a couple years old sharing information, and it's new information for them. And it's super old information for some of us. So it is a process, and everybody has their soul made its own plan to awaken during this. But the big thing that's going to happen, that's going to be just like that grand finale, it's going to get everybody's attention. Then it's going to be whatever is going to happen in that. And is it the EBS? Is it the TV telling everybody? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. But I know there's going to be a sudden, shocking event that is going to catch everyone's attention and be a mass awakening. And in the mass awakening, the shift will occur. We'll go back the other direction. And then in that shift is when you're going to have your own energy come back on you, where you have to see yourself. It's like you go in, everybody's going to be forced into this shadow work. And so everybody's gonna, and some people will have it a lot easier and some people will have it a lot harder, depending on how much stuff they've kept in, how many skeletons are in your closet, how much stuff have you done to other people because of your own pain that you didn't heal, and then you went out and did more stuff. So each person's gonna have their own shadow to deal with. Then we're gonna go into this time of healing. And that is that energy burst that is going to go out, that big awakening. And then when the energy comes back, that is when I think that this cataclysmic event will happen. If it's the water rising, which I feel pretty certain it's going to be something with the water. But, there's more. I think there was a politician even the other day I saw saying, besides that, now those NASA scientists, like, something big is coming and they're not telling you. Everybody wake up. It's like, but the whole thing is you just need to wake up your soul and start communicating with it so you don't live in fear. So you're not scared. A cataclysm, okay, well, it's just a reset. They're just going to reset. And the reset's the best thing. Fuck. This world that we've been existing in, goodbye, go under the mud. Like, see ya. Because we're going into a good time. We're going into a beautiful time on earth. We don't need the remnants of this old one. And that's probably how each time that there is a changing of the age, the people who are coming in for the new age probably feels that way. Like, yeah, we don't need that shit. We're heading for something new. Even when it comes to a time that we have been here during war and enslavement of beings, that in the consumption that we came into this because there was so much we could learn from it. We weren't forced here. We didn't just accidentally show up here. We chose to come here. We made our own stories. We created our own lives to come here to experience. So, everybody's so horrified. Like, this is the worst thing in the whole wide world. Yeah, it's fucked up. And it's hard to believe that we all came here for this shit. But there's so much learning and there's so much growth. And then we get this beautiful new thing that we're going into. So, and it doesn't matter. Like, if you transition out, if you were just killed off, like right now, like if they came in today and bombed us and, I went out of this reality, I would just go right into the next one. Like, I already know what I'm here for. So I'm not going to sit and stress. It is stressful, like every day. Like, okay, so what storm are they going to hit us with today? Are they going to be, what are they building us up to? Because they're building something up to something significant, I think, over here. And, you know, but you can't sit and stress about it because it's fate and destiny, and your soul came here for this. So don't sit and stress like, oh my God, I'm going to get killed. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God, I'm going to die. Even if you die, you're not going to be dead. You don't truly die. You just leave this situation and go into a different one. But that's the important thing of being consciously aware, so that when you do transition, you come out of this reality. You're not standing there going like, hey, wait a minute, where am I? Why is nobody hearing me? Why can't I talk to people? You'll transition out and you'll be like, oh crap, look, I'm dead. Oh man, okay, I'm free. I'm free. You know, that is when you have that awareness. Because so many people, when they transition, they're so confused because they've all been taught that you just die, you just cease to exist. So then they die, and then they're like, well, what is happening? Where am I? I mean, people get trapped in their houses trying to get somebody to listen to them. Like, well, why can't you hear me? Why can't you hear me? And reality starts shifting because you don't have these things holding on to you like time. And so it is like you just go from reality to reality in time and space. So that is why you want to get your consciousness, like you want to get control. You want to understand who and what you are. And when you transition, you have awareness, and then you have control of what you're doing and where you're going. Otherwise, you're just like confused, and that can take however long. Like there's a whole thing, that place that like what we think of as this purgatory. There's like an Ellis Island for the passing through. So you can go in, and if it's very confusing and you don't know what you're doing and you don't remember who you are and stuff, you go into like a timeout so that you can regroup. And I would imagine you just go into some sort of meditation kind of space as a being in, whatever form. I mean, when we're not in form, we are a star, we are light, we are color, we are movement, and we are a part of all things. And our light is our light, and it's how bright we make it from all of the work that we do while we are incarnated. That's why we incarnate. So anyways, I don't even know. I think I finished the stuff I was talking about. Just be really mindful of what it is you're putting out, and really have empathy for the people who all have these. Don't keep pushing fear and, hopelessness on these people. We got to give them hope. We got to give them empowerment. And, we can all heal ourselves, and we just got to get through to those med beds. Like, we just got to get into those. Those med beds are going to change everything for people. People who have cancer won't have cancer. People who have endocrine problems won't have them because it will fix all that. Like, so all of these people, even if, I mean, right now, supposedly all of our DNA is changing. So, we can't worry about that stuff. Some of the stuff they say, well, that can't be fixed in a med bed. Well, that can't. All we need to do is just be able to heal the disease, heal the sickness that they've put us through. Then just start working on yourself. Like, work on your own abilities, because everybody's abilities are different. And, that's why you're here, is to learn about your own abilities and be able to go and start living life using some of your abilities, having gifts, what we think of as gifts, and being magic and stuff. But that is the expansion, that is the evolution of man, to get to that point of understanding who and what it is, taking responsibility, and then really being able to expand their own abilities. So anyways, I just keep talking and talking, but hopefully I made sense. But just everybody just needs to work on themselves, and don't, we don't have to just beat these people down. and keep calling them names and stuff. Like, it just becomes mean. It becomes bullying. And I still have these people on my thing that come in. If I talk about something, I said something about souls yesterday, and then right away you get somebody come in. Isaiah 45:1 says that Jesus is the holy master of the world, and you better praise Jesus. All this stuff, and it's like, oh my God, you go praise Jesus all you want. Yeah, he was a good guy. The best what we know of him, he was a good guy. He was here to spread the message, just like Buddha, just like all the rest of these deities that have come, who have spread the word, and then people just want to worship him. I mean, there's fucking commercials. No, Jesus was here first, and he had to put up with all this, and just remember he's there with you, and all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, people just have got to learn their own abilities, their own empowerment. Learn they are Jesus. They don't need to worship Jesus. They are Jesus. We're all a part of the same thing. We are all these things. We are the cells just regrouping all the time. So, anyways, it's just stuff to think about. I'll talk to you later. Bye.